Okay, so I asked for some questions, and goddy dang, you guys came through with some questions. So I boldly said I would answer any question that came through in the first 24 hours. And I shit you not, you guys left over 200 questions in 24 hours. So first of all, bravo. Second of all, I'm sorry I haven't made the first Q&A video. I've been a little bit overwhelmed at the sheer volume, but I'm really grateful that you left the questions. I'm going to get to them right now. This will have to be a multiple part series because I can't answer 200 questions plus right away. But my goal is to record one per day and release one per day until these are out for the next week or so. And I think that everything will be caught up and you guys will know more about me than you could possibly want to know. So let's get right to it. I've got my computer right here. And let's see what you guys left. I have not pre-read or pre-screened these in case you guys stumped me. I left something really hard. I wanted to, I don't know, react in the raw. So my name is Noah. This is easily the longest Q&A ever. And let's go ahead and get right into it. Question number 1 comes from Isaac Can. Noah, what would you say about explaining your story to people you meet at parties? Like, I feel like I'm moping or just telling them how my life has been hard and how I used to be funnier or more chill. So this has come up for me too, and what experience has taught me in terms of how to relay that you struggle with depression or anxiety is to, one, understand that most people don't notice that you're not being as funny as you should be, you're not being very chill. A lot of us with mood disorders, and I suppose people in general, we think people are paying attention to us when they really, really aren't. Another thing to remember is that everyone has their story, and so don't be ashamed to tell yours, but just maybe leave out some of the more grisly details. Probably just let people know, if appropriate, like within the context of a normal conversation, let them know you struggle with depression and anxiety is something you have to live with. If they probe you more or they want to know more, they'll ask questions. And if they don't, I promise you, at the very least, they will absolutely respect the fact that you're being so open and honest. My channel has proven that to me. People like when people talk about this shit because a lot more of us deal with it than usually will say. Question number 2 from Thibault. Do you ever find yourself thinking you do not want to get better anxiety and depression wise? I never really think of it quite that black and white, but what I will say is that I've had stretches where like I try really hard, right? And I'll do all the little things as far as I can control. My sleep patterns will be in check, my mood journaling will be up, I'm meeting with my doctors, I'm taking the medications, I'm doing the right things in terms of lifestyle and self-care, and then I'll get discouraged and I'll say fuck it and I won't do any of them for a while, you know. But I think only when I look at it that way and I'm in my downward spiral will I be like, oh man, maybe I don't care about this, maybe I don't want to get better. And I think I look at it less simply now and I just say that, look, I'm human, I get discouraged, this is hard. Dealing with mood disorders, period, is tough, but long-term ones perhaps even more tough. So I try to cut myself a break and just keep chipping away at it. Dalton Shady. Did drinking again fuck you up on your road to ripped, or whatever you're calling it nowadays? Yeah, it really did. It really did. I haven't gained any weight since I started drinking a month ago. For those of you who don't know, I relapsed about a month ago and I made a video about it, but it's been something I've been hesitant to talk about right now. I've been trying to process how I feel. As far as the road to RIP goes, I mean, I've been working out like a crazy person still. My diet's been weird, and with the drinking, it's confused these goals. And I've been embarrassed about that and ashamed to talk about it because I hate starting things and not finishing it. So I'm currently weighing in at 212, 213, but we're not making any new progress. And I just hope I decide what I want to do there quick before I piss people off more than I need to. Winston Rodney asks, hi Noah, in relation to your recent minor break in sobriety, have you felt at all like just giving up? And how did you get over such feelings? You know, I haven't felt like giving up since this recent break in sobriety. If anything, it's sort of reignited my quest to understand myself, learn from this experience and see what I want. In a lot of ways, it's reignited my search to see what I can do to better myself mentally. My drinking was a response to just being frustrated with my mental health, and I took it out on my sobriety for whatever reason, and I'm trying not to be so hard on myself. I think, like, historically, I've always put it like this. Like, if I'm drinking, I'm a bad person. I'm incapable of being a good person or doing good things. And if I'm sober, then I can be someone I can be proud of, and I want people to know about it. And I think that black and white thinking has led me into some trouble. And so when I relapsed, I was like, okay, Noah, don't use this as your, rite of passage to fuck up your entire life. If you need to experience this, if you need to experiment, so to speak, do it. But do it carefully, do it safely, and prove to yourself, if you're capable, that you don't have to trash your life whilst figuring this out. And so I've just been pretty easy on myself, and and I've tried to just love myself enough not to punish myself unneededly. But it's a tricky thing. Playing It Old School asks, what is your advice to help someone who is depressed, and also how do you hold a relationship when you're depressed? When someone is depressed, there's this tendency in people that aren't, who care about that person, to want to fix them. And I think the first thing you need to do is go get support for yourself. Go get support for yourself and understand you can't fix the depressed person. All you have to do is let them know you care about them, you believe that they can get better, and you're there for them. If they want help, you can then offer them help. But the person who is depressed just has to figure out how depressed they are, how willing they are to accept the level of depression that they experience, because it's so vastly varying depending on the person, and what they're willing to do about it. So maybe if they're open to you saying it, ask them what they're willing to start working on, what they're willing to do, and how you can help them accomplish that. But understand that you can't fix the depressed person, and they might not want you to. You just need to tell them you love them and you believe that they can get better, and you're there for them. Just without a shadow of a doubt, no strings attached, be there for them. That's it. And go get your own support. And as far as how do you hold on to a relationship when you're depressed, I think you have to understand that the person that is depressed is not the person you fell in love with. That is not the person that you once knew. They are a depressed person. They're sick. And you need to play more of the role of an understanding caretaker. That's really why I stress people taking care of themselves more than like the person who's depressed. See, people who are healthy think they need to fix the depressed person, like I just said, but really they need to work on themselves more than ever, because you're going to need to be a rock for that person who's depressed. You're going to need to not take it personal, the way they behave when they're depressed, how hopeless they are, how apathetic they are, how little they take care of you. If you can understand and see them as more like a child, and you have to be a caretaker until they get better, you'll have a much better chance, you'll have a much better chance of surviving your relationship. It was a very tough transition for Jesse and I to figure out when I was severely depressed. We truly almost did not pull it off. Marla Robinson asks, have you ever done intensive exposure response therapy for your anxiety? I think so, but maybe not formally. I did it more in the sense that, like, at one point I was too scared and too agoraphobic to, like, go into stores. I thought the stimulation of this open space and the amount of people would cause a panic attack, and so I would start by getting comfortable being outside for short stretches, and then I would progress further to going into smaller spaces, and then maybe a bigger store, but I wear sunglasses to sort of create a buffering effect. So I think if that's what you mean, then yes, but I did so very carefully and very slowly. Ballerman22345, when you were going through depersonalization and depression, did you actually lose your emotions or no? I'm going through a benzo withdrawal and I currently feel like a robot. I feel emotionless and it's scaring the shit out of me. Yeah, first and foremost, I'm sorry you're going through that. It is scary, and I hope you're staying brave, because it will get better. I truly believe that, as long as you control what you can. That being said, absolutely. In the early phases, I could have sworn that I had gone completely numb, and that I was literally just perceiving my experience like I was watching a movie through my own eyes. It was very scary. I didn't feel anything. I thought I was dead. I thought I'd gone brain dead. I thought I was going crazy. And what I found is that over time, I would eventually start rekindling something that I refer to sometimes on this channel as negative happiness. So I'd be less depressed enough to recognize a feeling or something. I would do some extreme things also to try to like ignite an emotional response. I would go on these really long runs to see if I could get so tired that I would get some sort of like endorphin release that would remind me of when I was not mentally brain dead. I would jump into ice cold showers to try to wake my body up, wake my brain up, stuff like that. Anyway, did some crazy things to try to get better and make it work. I found that late in the evenings I would do better than early in the mornings, and over time I started to slowly reconnect the broken links in my brain to know that I wasn't going to die. I wasn't going totally crazy. But it's really scary, and I'm sorry you're going through it. Gary Stealth asks, do you think you're too hard on yourself about your past with drinking? Yeah, I do think I've been too hard on myself with my past when it comes to drinking, and I kind of addressed that in a previous question. I think that I have every right to explore this, drinking again. I have every right to see if it can work or if it can't work, because no one can do the work for sobriety for me, and it's my life. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. My job is just to be honest with myself and be honest with those around me. I think if I can stick to that, if I can not lie about how it's going and how I'm feeling, then I think it's not necessary to humiliate myself or absolutely just behead myself emotionally because I'm like suddenly a bad person. Something I have to be really careful about. So yeah, I think I have been too hard on myself. Gus Lorimer asks, where did you get those lime underpants? So he's referring to some booty shorts my wife gave me for a workout we did in CrossFit. I'm about to show you the picture of what that looks like. If you're not trying to see my ass, just turn away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That was me the other morning. And I think I rocked the shit out of those. They are my wife's. Marty Mary asks, did your anxiety cause you to drink again? I don't think my anxiety caused me to drink again. I think my continued struggles with depression and anxiety in general made me upset. They just made me bitter, and I took it out on my sobriety. I wasn't like, oh, I'm so anxious, I need to drink to calm myself down. Like, it wasn't like that. But I think I put certain expectations on drinking, which wasn't fair. On sobriety, which was not fair of me. That if I stayed sober for long enough and worked a 12-step program and did everything that was suggested to the best of my ability, that things would just be perfect. That my brain would just stop fucking up. And now, because of this drinking, I've probably run into a bipolar 2 diagnosis. And I found as needed Klonopin, which is proven to be a really healthy tool to deal with harder days. And I certainly feel less absorbed and less obsessed with how I'm feeling right now. I think it was meant to happen, but right now we just need to figure out how long it's going to happen and what stake it has in my future. Shane Walker asks, with going back to drinking, are you only drinking to quiet your mind and release, or are you just trying to bury the fact that maybe medication seems to be the only answer for you? Yeah, I definitely have caught myself drinking to stop the way I was feeling a couple times since I drank again about a month ago, and it's a big red flag for me. That's why it's only happened a couple times. And then otherwise, I think it was pretty simple. I think I just wanted something different. Right, wrong, or indifferent. I wanted just to feel differently. Like I sort of alluded to in the previous question, I'm so focused. I'm so in tune with my depression, my anxiety, my obsessive thoughts, my rumination. Like I'm just relentlessly self-reflecting and introspective and ruminating and in touch with how I don't feel right, when I'm in my down stretches. I think I just wanted something different. Something to break up that endless cycle, and it has given me that. I'd be lying if I said it hasn't been kind of nice. Now, like I keep saying, my job is to assess how I'm feeling when I'm not drinking. Am I obsessing over it? Am I thinking about it? Has it made being sober day to day harder than before? How's my mental health? How's my integrity? Where's my heart at? That's really what I have to focus on. And then, the medication thing remains a big question for me. And that's why I've been hesitant to make videos. That's why I've been trying to take some time for myself, because I have a lot to figure out. Lindsay A. Noah, how are you able to keep a steady job and in marriage together when your mental health / sobriety is not going well? I ask because I am not able to, and I could use any tips and advice. It's very simple. It's very, very, very simple. Structure in a schedule that I don't give myself permission to skip on. So I have a sleep schedule. I've got a routine in the morning. I've got my work that I show up to even if I feel so suicidally depressed that I think I can't move. I just do. I've just gotten used to acting, letting my feet take me where my brain will soon follow. I show up for my workouts even if I'm so anxious I think I might panic. I just stick to my structure. So on days where I'm doing better, it's really easy. Days when I'm not doing very well at all, it's really hard, but the structure stays the same, and it helps me survive those harder stretches. So my only tip to you is to figure out what routine or what structure you can stick to no matter what, and then stick to it no matter what. And you will find that it has certain therapeutic values that maybe like when you're thinking about getting going, you can't really process and see, but once you actually get going, you're like, fuck, this makes this a lot better, makes this a lot easier, keeping your appointments, showing up for life even when you're feeling dead inside, It's hard though. Good luck. Raquel Moore, do you still have food binges, and how do you handle them? I mean, I do have food binges, but I have to admit it's more like I eat unhealthy sometimes, but I don't often eat all that much. I think for me, having exercise being such a huge part of my life, I do CrossFit. When I eat really bad, I feel it in the gym, and it just makes the workouts hard, or it affects the quality of my sleep. But in terms of like how I process a binge meal, process it like you're human. Wake up and ask yourself, what are you going to do today to make it better, and how are you gonna respond? I mean, we can dwell on these things, or we can just try to have the best day we possibly can the day we're in. So shake it off. You're human. It's all good. Oh, you also asked how I've been feeling. Honestly, in general, I've been feeling okay. I was in a really dark space for about 3 or 4 weeks. these last 2 or 3 weeks have felt fine. And if my bipolar 2 diagnosis is any indication, I think we're in one of the upswings, which I'll take. But yeah, my world has not come crashing down so far. We seem to be doing okay. And we're taking it day by day, and it's my job. I've been mood journaling more. It's my job just to be honest about how things are going. I think things are going okay at the moment. Camaro Jeff asks, when I got on TRT, I made huge gains and changed my lifestyle. That being said, I felt like I deserved a reward, so feeling invincible, I started going to the local pub and enjoying myself. Did you ever feel the same way when you decided to drink again? I mean, yeah, like I think part of me did feel that way. A little self-loathing, like, hey, I've been so good for so long. I try so hard to do the right things. You know, I want to get naughty too. I want to do the wrong thing. Like, I deserve that. And I think that's an unhealthy way to look at it. That's why I'm trying to dial it back to where, like, you know, for you, like, going to the pub just has to, like, have the stigma of just being this horrible thing. Like most things in life, if in moderation, and if you can be honest about how it's affecting you, of course it's not that big of a deal. And so for me, and maybe for you, you just have to ask yourself how you're feeling after, what your intentions are before, and like, are you escaping, you know? Like, just how unhealthy is the relationship? That's been the biggest thing that we're trying to figure out right now. So, but yeah, I understand. I've felt those feelings, and I try to harness them because they don't feel terribly healthy. Phoenix Light asks, you have mentioned that before you were on TRT that you struggled with depression. I believe you mentioned that it was affecting your sex life as well. Was your problem just libido, no interest in sex, or did you actually suffer from erectile dysfunction when you tried to have sex? How did raising your testosterone levels with TRT affect your sex life and your emotions in particular? Sorry if this is too personal. Glad to see you're back online. You've helped me a lot. All those things. It's not too personal. I don't care what we talk about on this channel. Whatever comes up, we talk about. No pun intended there. Yeah, I had erectile dysfunction. I had no interest in sex. All of it. No libido, no emotional interest, nothing. And raising my testosterone to a better level, I was able to maintain an erection. I was able to be aroused, and it slowly helped my depression and anxiety to a point, up to a point, as well as my interest in sex. It was pretty simple, pretty black and white, you know. Raise that and improve my sex life. And I hope if that's what you're experiencing, the same goes for you. Eve VL, are you homophobic? Just asking because in one of your videos, I comment that I support you or something like that, and someone replied to me that I shouldn't because you are homophobic. That's so weird. I haven't watched all of your videos, so maybe there's a comment that was misunderstood, or you already explained this. That's so weird that you asked this question. I've had this person write the nastiest things to me, like spammed tons of my videos, telling me that I was a completely homophobic person, I was a piece of shit, that I was a disgrace, and the gay community should hate me. And I am like the least homophobic person I've ever met. Like, I have really close friends who happen to be gay, both male and female. I have family members who happen to be homosexual. I love all people. Like, I just don't care about stuff like that, personal lifestyle choices and or just who we are, you know. We're all different. No, I hope you can sincerely believe me. I am not homophobic in any way, shape, or form at all. I thought someone was trolling me, but I literally had the same account leave like 30 mean comments on like 30 of my videos telling me I was a piece of shit and I was homophobic, and I was so confused. So if you'll take my word for what it is, no, I'm not homophobic at all. I hope you can believe me, but I guess I can't prove it to you other than just watch my videos and see how I behave. Like, I've never once said something derogatory in that way, and I never will, ever. In fact, to this point, I don't want to ramble, but it almost makes me hot because I've never been called that before. I broke every friend I've ever had of using the word FAG. Every friend I ever had growing up, anyone that said that, I would let them know that if they wanted to be my friend, they couldn't use that word, period, no matter what. And they all stopped using it just so we could maintain friends. And to this day, they don't use it because of the power of that word and how I let them know it affects people. So no, not at all. I think we will call that a wrap for part 1 of the longest Q&A ever. I will do as many parts as necessary to get everyone's question answered If you made it to the end of any of the videos, my hats are off to you. I thank you for taking the time to leave questions. Thank you for continuing to support this channel, especially as we go through kind of a different time on here. And we'll see you guys in part 2.